I can't help but think of just two pieces of history that I think demonstrate very well how the wealthy have always controlled the media in the United States and therefore the narrative in the United States. Now, I have to say this, we know that the wealthiest people in this country didn't work super hard for every dollar they ever got. They came here, they took land, they kept slaves, and used the money they made from that to make even more money. They used that money to start newspaper businesses, including William Randolph Hearst. He's probably the most notable. So Hearst and his buddies came together and they said, you know what? We should actually take colonies. They had stock in fruit and sugar companies, and they decided we should annex Hawaii. So a bunch of members of Congress made this their mission, and Hearst ran articles in his newspaper about how the people in Hawaii needed our help, that they were savages and they would benefit from Christian values. When Congress voted to annex Hawaii and take Hawaii as a colony, there wasn't much outrage, because where else would people hear about Hawaii other than in newspapers? Fast forward 135 years later, in 1979, Stephen Kinzer, who's a friend of mine, was a foreign correspondent living in Nicaragua during the revolution when people stood up and said, we want a democratic government and a democratic economy. The United States didn't really vibe with that. So Stephen gets a call from the New York Times. They say, we've heard there's a shipment coming from Russia to Nicaragua. So this is during the Cold War. And Stephen says, no, I would have heard if there was a shipment coming here from Russia. They said, go to the port anyway, just to be sure. So he goes to the port, he's up all morning. Shipment never comes, but they say, run the story anyway. So he writes the story and they run it on the front page. And it says, you know, shipment expected from USSR never comes to Nicaragua. Stephen realized all they really wanted was Russia and Nicaragua in the same sentence. A bunch of members of Congress and members of the Reagan administration came together and secretly funded the fascists in Nicaragua, gave them weapons, gave them military training, and gave them money. It wasn't until a CIA spy plane was shot down in Nicaragua that the world knew for sure that the United States was involved. And when that happened, here's what one of the men involved said.
Many people have come to believe there is something wrong with the way that this country makes foreign policy. They probably don't know how wrong.
What we're experiencing in social media right now is likely the first time we've had real free media in the United States and had free speech in media. We've used this app to build a community and share information we can't anywhere else. Democrats and Republicans have come together to try to ban TikTok. Rick Scott, a Republican out of Florida, is worth $200 million. Nancy Pelosi is worth $114 million. Finance bros have created an investment fund that mirrors Pelosi's trades because she outperforms the market. They have stock in the companies and corporations that we work for. So when our wages are less, the profits are higher. When we are paid less, our representatives make more money. Only 10% of members of Congress don't have any investments. So they line their pockets while making money off of the companies they're supposed to be regulating. So we have banks failing because regulations on banks were repealed and people can't access their money. They took away regulations in the rail industry, and now we have a train exploding in an Appalachian town spewing carcinogens into the air and into the water. But they want to ban TikTok. They want to regulate TikTok and convince us that TikTok is what's dangerous. It is only dangerous to them, because they don't control the narrative on here, we do. But isn't that what a democracy is supposed to be? They hate this app because this app is a threat to their wealth and their power. If it gets banned, it's a mystery to me why.